presentation of our guest speaker. Unfortunately, Benjamin wasn't able to make it, but we do have someone who knows her just as well, and it's going to be her uncle there, Mr. Kenneth Jemerson.
In tandem with each other in terms of military career. She started out as enlisted, like I did, and of course she went on and got her degree, eventually moved on, and eventually found out that you switch service, I believe. Yes, switch service. Because originally she was in the Army, like I was, and then she went into the Air Force, and then finally she went on to decide to become a nurse, which we all were proud of, and also, in addition to that, her twin sister did the same. So to basically sum it up, she went on through the ranks and stuff, and excelled in the highest fashion possible. And just here recently, a few months ago, she awarded the rank of colonel, lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to Colonel Ada Marie Collier. Give her a hand.
You know, I wanted to start this presentation this evening. Typically, like I do most of my military speeches, I go straight into kind of like an opening. But given a number of circumstances, there are a lot of things that have happened over the past week or two, I have to stop and I have to say, thank you. God, I thank you. I thank you for bringing me home to my church family, my Shiloh family, what I call my safety place, my refuge. Okay, I thank you. 87 years ago, a young girl had a dream of influencing the world to try to make it better than what she had experienced and what she had seen and what she had known. This little girl grew up in the cotton fields, working, okay? This little girl's grandfather, in the late 1800s, was transferred with his 5-year-old daughter, my great-grandmother, to Sumter County, Alabama. She really didn't know very much about her father, but what I do know is that God called her and designed her to be something special to influence this world. She would go on to do that, not through some formal education, such as myself having a degree or some high-profile job, but she went on to do it through just a few words that she penned at the age of 8. My grandmother's words were, first word is to be true. Second word is to be trustworthy. Third word is dare to do right. Whatever comes or does not come, stand by what you believe in, even if you have to stand alone. Be humble, upright, and faithful. Avoid to which is evil, cling to that which is good, because true boys and girls do not grow on trees. To tell you the truth, we need more. All the education without character is dead weight. And that last part, all the education without character is dead weight. You see, because I tell people all the time, I have a lot of stuff behind my name, got a few in front of my name. However, it's my character, it's who I am, that makes the difference. Because see, I come from Moss Point, and I let everybody know I come from Moss Point. And I let everybody know who my family is. My Shiloh family, my Jemerson family, my Collier family, everyone. I let them know who we are, and I take you with me wherever I go, no matter where I travel. And I've been carrying this since we gave my grandmother a birthday party in January 2014, and I've been holding this. This is what I use. I take to work, and I've been holding this, and my Every day I go to work. Since 2014, it has early gym in 2014. Not once at that time did I know that I would need these words. Because in October of 2014, I went through a lot on my job and it being in uniform. And I couldn't understand what was going on. I just I got it together. I'm all right. What's happening? And I would have friends that would turn their backs on me and accuse me of stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on just a second. I can't explain it. So I remember sitting in the commander's office and saying, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Whatever you decide to do. Because I remember my grandmother's word is saying, dare to do right. No matter what they said or what they do, you do right. And that's what I did. And at that moment, I called her. I remember calling her. And we had that type of relationship where a lot of things would happen, and I didn't have the words to say how I was feeling on the inside. And I would call and say, Mom. And she would say, Ada? I said, yes, ma'am. And I didn't say anything after that. She would immediately go in and start praying. And it probably wasn't until about a year ago that I really flew. I guess I kept reading. I keep going back to her words all this time. And I understood the meaning of what she was trying to get at through these words. And I came up with one word, and that's freedom. And that's freedom. And for me, I know for her, having grandparents growing up in the late 1800s, mother in the late 1800s, that experienced what true slavery was all about, and not having the freedom to do what you need to do, or the freedom to be who God called you to be. Because I know God placed something inside of this special woman. I know he did. But he also placed something inside of each and every last one of us. However, life happens. Okay? And I know over the past couple of years, it's like, Ada got it going on, I got my degree, finished school, and my son's doing well, and I'm in the uniform, and everything, life is good. But I couldn't understand what was going on, what was happening, all the trials, all the stuff that was just going on. It was just, let me tell you guys, from the deployment, and I can tell you, from the times that I would deploy, I would call my grandmother, and I didn't have the words to say, but she was always there, encouraging me and telling me, baby, do right. Just do right, okay? Because God's got something for you. And it wasn't until probably about a year or so ago that we would start talking about some of the things that my grandmother, some of the changes that we're going through. And I knew that I wasn't sure where I was going to in my military career. And I remember going to Germany, and I had a friend of mine say, you know what, Ada? You are mean. Oh, wait, hold on just a second. I'm major. I got it going on. No, he said, if you don't get that stuff off of you, you're not going anywhere. And so I didn't know at that time, and I wasn't free. I was doing things, but I wasn't free to be what God had called me to be, because you know what? Life was happening to me because I had all this stuff on me. I was in control. I knew everything. So Ada had control. You got to do this right. No, don't do it. This is the way Ada's going to do it. I had to do it right. A lot of pride. It was all over me. I liked the money. I traveled to Germany. I had all this stuff all over me. And the biggest word that I couldn't get a grip on was selfishness. Who, me, selfish? Because I give. I throw parties for the enlisted. I recognize everybody. But I was selfish. I really did. I gossip. Oh, I always have. But y'all, low self-esteem. This ain't it. Now, my grandmother saw that. Okay? lot of bitterness. And the last one was brokenness. She saw that. I could open myself up and I could be free to her to let her see the brokenness that I had on the inside. But I couldn't get where I wanted to go and influence the world and do what God had called me to do with all that stuff all over me. And let me tell you what, that transition, and it wasn't until, Big Mama and I, we were talking, and I'm like, Mama, what's going on? Why is this person treating me this way? Why is this happening to me? And she would just pray, and I didn't know at that time that God was using me to strip all of this off. Every trial that I endured, I would be on the highway. I remember being in Florida and just pulling on the side of the road, and I was just crying. And I picked up the phone. I called Clara first, and Clara said, "Baby, just hold on, sweetie, just hold on." And then I called my grandmother, and she would just pray for me. But God had something special for that young girl whose words would go on to influence her granddaughter. And that was, like I said, the word freedom. To be free to be who I am and what I'm supposed to be. And it took a long time. And let me tell you guys, I just started doing this. I really did. And so about 2 years ago, I was actually enrolled in what we call Air War College, the military. You have to, when you're being considered for promotion, I was being considered for promotion to colonel, and you have to complete Air War College, which is our professional military education. And part of that task is that as a senior leader, you have to develop certain principles by which you define your leadership. And I did that. And I did, it's called, military, we like acronyms. You always have to have an acronym for military. And my acronym was actually SAIL. And I chose to set an example and be ethical in my decision making and to let God use me. But last year I added one more word, and my aunt said it so sweet today, and that was vision. Is to have a vision for where I wanted to go as far as my personal life, but also my professional life, and also a vision for where we were going to take our organization. I had to be able to communicate that vision to those that are under my leadership. And as a leader, sometimes that's tough, because you can't do that until you know who you are. Because I can't tell them what they need to do if I had the selfishness, and if I had the control, and I had the bitterness, and I had all that on top of me. There is no way I could lead these kids to do what they need to do. And I think that's where the struggle was coming in, because I was trying to get them somewhere, but I had so many issues that I had to take care of myself. And I wasn't being true to who I am. And God just worked it. Y'all, let me tell you, I tell people my closet had plenty of days I was in my closet crying. Because I asked God, and I asked him, I said, I need you to use me. Whatever it is that you want me to do, I'm open to you. I remember saying that, I'm open to you. And little did I know, he was going to take me on that ride. And that journey has been tough, but it's been good. This past year, I said it's been a growing year, a learning year, and I'm always open, because I can be, as my aunt said, I can be a little stubborn sometimes. I was very stubborn. But God has just really worked some awesome things in my life. There's a quote from a British officer I'd like to share with you. Is that there is without hope for democracy what I call freedom, if the hearts of men and women cannot be touched by a call to something that's greater than themselves. 40 years ago, you had a group of men and women that set out to do something that was greater than themselves. Okay? Shiloh. And like my aunt said, there's something about that name. I don't know what it is. There's something about coming home to Shiloh. But aside from, my grandmother and Miss Dorsey and all of the women watching over lumber and my grandfather doing what he was doing in the church and Evie and Pastor McGee and everyone in Shiloh, without Rev. McGee having that vision for something greater than himself, because he was on a mission to accomplish something. And little did I know, when we were participating in the penny marches, or we were singing in the top choir and the junior choir, that that vision for what he had would just embed itself into all of us. Wait, come here, Tanisha. Tanisha and I had a nice little brief conversation when I came home from my grandmother's funeral. And I have watched this young lady since she arrived here in Shiloh. I always share this with Vicky. I said, there's something about her, but you know what? She's got to open herself up, and she's got to let God use her. She's got to go through some stuff. She really does. And what do we say? We talked about that, didn't I? I said, you know what? I am so proud of you because you let him use you. You open yourself up. And this is, 40 years ago, we didn't see this. Rev. McGee didn't see this. But this is what happens. And this is the product. Not only that, but look at every last member in here, in this choir. And look at the success they've had. But no matter what, we all, each and every last one of us, we all still carry that vision of Pastor McGee 40 years ago in our heart. Yep. Amen. Yep. And I want to say, like I said, this is my baby here. I mean, I told her, I said, sweetie, I'm so proud of you, because I shared with her, I said, I know the struggle. Because sometimes we can look all pretty on the outside, but let me tell you what, he has to strip us all that stuff.
Yes.
To get us where we need to be in order for us to do what he has called us to do. Because each and every last one of us, God has placed something inside of us. Some unique gift, some unique talent, something greater than ourselves. Okay? And where's my penny? Something. We've been talking about the penny marches that we were having, we started out having. And one thing I can say is that this right here, I was sharing with my mother today that I was going somewhere and I was picking up a penny, and the guy was like, all that work to pick up a penny? Yeah. Because it's a symbol of new beginnings. That's the way I see a penny. It's a symbol of a new beginning. And little did I know, that young girl was thinking the penny marches, we were raising money for the church. But this Ada here today, see this penny in a different way. And see it as a symbol of one. Us coming together as one with a new beginning to do what God has called us to do. And so I want each and every one of you to get your pennies out tonight. Okay? Forget, what did you say, Lord? Forget, and your dollars. Get your dollars and your pennies out tonight, because God has a new direction for us to go, for Shiloh, over the last 40 years, you guys have done wonderful, and I love coming home, and I love being home. And I always come to just get you and get your love and get your hugs, and I go back out in the world. And sometimes I get beat up, and I have to come back home. That's why I call, this my safety place and my refuge. But this penny signified oneness for us to come together now and join together as one to set a direction for a new path for Shiloh. And let's help do this for Shiloh tonight. I love you guys. I love you, and I carry everyone in my heart no matter where I go. So, yeah, we're gonna march around and take up the offering and put our pennies in. I have mine, and my mother has hers too. Yeah, and I love the theme of yeah. And it's just a time for us to come and take the Shiloh then and the Shiloh now. Let's bring together and let's come together as one.
Every praise is to our God. There's nothing greater, no one greater than our God. Didn't Ada do a good job, people? Let's give her another hand. As we see, there's much that we here at Shiloh, we do things that we don't realize that we're doing sometimes, and when we see the product that comes from the things that we do, we can't help but to be grateful, because he does things that we have no idea as to what the end product would be, where it's going, but we just have to leave it to him to do the things that he do. Again, I say thank you, Ada. Next, we have a recognition that's going to our guest speaker tonight, and it will be presented by our very own, the president of the Jackson County Board of Supervisors, Mr. Milton Harris.
First, giving honor to God, who's the head of my life, and I'm sure the head of everyone's life in this building. Back in the old days when the churches had holes in the walls and you could see the ground from the bottom, and you could hear an old sister in the back and one in the back and say, "We're having a good time up in here." That's what we're having today. And I stand for one thing, but I could not fail from doing this. We all hear about putting on the whole body armor and what it's supposed to do. But when you hear a man in the choir and this musician play and sing together, I tell you, that puts the body armor on, but it's solidified. It's not just pieces, but it becomes one piece that's cover your body. And that is great. That is great. And the other part of that, you said, y'all got some good stuff up in here. That is great. I heard the occasion, and the lady spoke about the mission, the vision, and all of those things that took place, and the growth and the development. And every year was a successful story. And there's no doubt there's many, many more successful stories past these 40 years. And we heard the great words from a young lady here that talked about her life and how God has changed her life. And that is a blessing as well. Because as the party, we've heard this term, God never finished with us. And so, congratulations to her. And I must say, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Jackson County Board of Supervisors, it's my honor and privilege to present a proclamation to her. Because, as I say, this is not only something for Moss Point, Jackson County, the state of Mississippi, the United States, but the whole world. I wish we could capture it and put it on a bottle and transfer it all across our world, because this is really something great. I would read the proclamation. Promoted to Lieutenant Colonel Ada M. Collier. Whereas Lieutenant Colonel Ada M. Collier is officially scheduled for promotion to Colonel in the United States Air Force Reserve in June 2016, and whereas Lieutenant Colonel Collier is a native of Moss Point and is an ambassador for Moss Point, Jackson County, and the state of Mississippi, and whereas she is a 1983 graduate of Moss Point High School, and whereas she completed undergraduate study in nursing at the University of South Alabama, Mobile, and earned a Master of Public Health degree and Health Care Administration at Troy University. And whereas Lieutenant Colonel Collier entered the Army National Guard in November 1985, joined the Air Force Reserve 6 years later, and in 1998 was commissioned a second lieutenant. And whereas Lieutenant Colonel Collier entered active duty in 1999, and during her 4 years assignment at Keesler Air Force served as charge nurse and nurse manager, whereas she is an individual reservist to the Chief Nurse 779th Medical Group Joint Base, Andrew, Maryland, and is a daughter of Minnie Collier and Eddie Collier. And whereas Lieutenant Colonel Collier would join the elite group of colonels in the United States Armed Forces. And now, therefore, let it be resolved that we, the members of the Jackson County Board of Supervisors, Barry Cummins, District 1, yours truly, District 2, Ken Taylor, District 3, Troy Ross, District 4, Randy Bouchard, District 5, congratulate Lieutenant Colonel Collier on her scheduled promotion as all citizens of Jackson County to join in us to congratulate her and thank her for her service to our country. Ladies and gentlemen, this is signed by yours truly, Melton Harris, Jackson County Board of Supervisors, President, and Troy Ross, Jackson County Board of Supervisors, Vice President. Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me as we bring her up and give me an opportunity to present this to us.
I want to take this opportunity to ask my mom and her siblings if they would come up for just a minute. Could, Ernest. Because I remember the prayers that my grandmother prayed for this. Y'all just don't know. And how we planned for this moment. So on the 3rd of June, when they put that rank on my shoulder, I always remember my grandmother, and more importantly, my grandfather, because I stand on his shoulders, being a World War II veteran, and continue to wear that uniform for over 30 years. And I thank you. And more importantly, I thank you, my Shiloh family, because like I said, 40 years ago, walking around as a young girl, doing the painted marches and singing in the top choir, singing in the junior choir, that your words and your love and everything that who you are would just seek in my soul and stay there. And now you see the result of this. So I thank you. I love you, family. I just so love you so much.
And we are so honored and so privileged to have our state representative in the house. And I believe he has something to present today. We're going to give him this time to make his presentation.
Thank you, first off, for the invite to come and fellowship with you this afternoon. Ada Collier is one of your parishioners. She is one of my constituents and a great patriot of this state and of this country. And she received a resolution, or actually a proclamation from the state of Mississippi honoring her outstanding accomplishments. And I wanted to come here today on behalf of Representative Charles Buxby from Pascagoula and, of course, myself from the city of Moss Point. Colonel, we thank you for your selfless service to protect the freedoms we all enjoy, for we all understand that the freedoms we enjoy are never free. It is the policy of the House of Representatives of the state of Mississippi, the Senate of Mississippi concurring therein, that we do hereby commend and congratulate Colonel Ada Collier for being promoted Colonel in the United States Air Force, and extend happiest wishes. Colonel, we wish you your continued success, and we wish you heartfeltly on your future endeavors. And on behalf of the state of Mississippi, the House of Representatives, the Senate of Mississippi, and the governor for the state of Mississippi, we congratulate you and wish you happier and future endeavors.